membership meeting this morning, and we have a slate of new people for the board. And Robert, you want to take it away?
Yes, thank you, Robert. I think it was on Friday. I was watching a video, a movie or a biography on Miles Davis. Somebody I've always wanted to know a lot more about, and I really didn't know anything. And he said something they were interviewing him, and he said something that really resonated with me and resonates about what's going on in the world today, in the country today, and in our Sangha today. And he said, and forgive me if I have the quote wrong, he says, without change, there is no creativity. And he was relating this to making music, and what's interesting about him is his evolution as a musician, and he actively sought out doing different kinds of music, classical. He went to Juilliard, which I didn't know. But anyway, so it kind of, for some odd reason, I kind of had an aha moment, like we're in a very difficult, hard time. But I had this mood, and I'm still in it, hopefully it'll stay with me, is really one of excitement. And what I mean by excitement is the possibilities that are before us as a nation, as a world, as a species, if you will. As my daughter said, boy, Dad, look, it seems like the world's falling apart. And it seems to me we have great opportunities, great possibilities of moving forward, and how we treat one another, and all the issues that are before us. I don't need to go into that. And I feel that way about the Zen Center. With our slate of candidates, I'm really excited that we're bringing in really great people, with new energy, new ideas that will help propel us forward. So today is our annual membership meeting, and it's really sort of in a way, a look back, look at where we are now, and a little bit about moving forward. June will start us off with a slide presentation to kind of update us, which even this, as we were talking about putting this meeting together, just occurred to me that the slide presentation is even more important given that we're all virtual here, right? And that June will have some of the building and the developments and things that have gone on there. And then Robert and June will talk about the state of the ZLMC. We'll have a report out on the financials. And then we'll have the slate of new board members introduce themselves, and then we'll vote on that. And then have circle presentations. So really hearing a little bit about a lot of the great activities that are going on, and then we'll close it out. So June, you want to kick us off with your presentation?
Yes, and I want to let everybody know that I am taping our annual meeting today, because I don't think I see a secretary anyway, so it'll be, taped.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I did
Okay.
ask Susan. She said she was going to be here. But...
Yeah, anyway. And so if everybody would mute themselves, that would also help, I think, as well. So here we go. And the sound may be a little glitchy, and that's Zoom. Anyway, hope you enjoy.
萨多萨。 一丝一丝尘埃，尘埃落在山，佛在山里踏实，踏实佛在山也，不如多来，不如思里，所来所来，这里这里，处处不敌不敌耶。佛陀耶，佛陀耶，弥勒耶，多来金子耶，斯利那摩耶摩那萨婆诃，斯陀耶萨婆诃，斯陀耶萨婆诃，斯陀耶斯门那耶萨婆诃。我来金子萨婆诃，我来萨婆来斯来舍，我来提耶萨婆诃，萨婆诃，是我耶萨婆诃，加因来我是我耶萨婆诃。我多么解释我也萨婆诃，来金子观界那也萨婆诃，我可离生界那也萨婆那摩，南来南那多来呀耶那摩，摩利耶摩羯说本来也萨婆诃，安斯面多闻多来南多耶萨婆诃。那摩哈来怛那多拉呀耶那摩利耶，摩罗揭耶说班那耶摩尼萨多摩耶摩萨多耶，我假如你假里汉萨摩那法耶苏丹那那。南无释迦利多伊摩多耶摩罗揭释波罗夷多摩那摩罗那金子斯利罗曼多萨维萨婆那斯曼陀斯语萨婆萨多。
Thanks, June. That was beautiful.
Really nice.
I almost feel like we could end the meeting there, right? All the beauty and goodness.
I'm so proud of our center.
And now we'll move on, and June and Robert will talk about the state of the ZLMC. Need to unmute, Robert.
Well, we're proud of all you too. We're proud of our Sangha. We're proud of our Zen tradition. And I don't know what state we're in. We're in a state of change. That's for sure. Big change. So, uh, you know, our practice is to be with change and impermanence. So I'm not quite sure what to say about the state of ZLMC. When I see every year when June collects that slideshow, I'm amazed at all the things we've done in the past year. And I feel a little tired looking at it. But we've done a lot. We've been in this, this is your home, Zen Center home. June and me are fortunate to reside here on the second floor, but the Zen Center owns this property. We have been in this property just over a year now. We took possession of it at the end of April in 2019, and we've done a lot since we took possession of this property. And I don't, Sensei, you want to say something about the state of ZLMC? I'm not quite sure.
I think we don't have to say too much. I
Okay,
think maybe
good.
the slideshow, did
Okay,
it.
yeah,
And
I think the
that's good.
slideshow
We
said-
only have an hour, and
Oh.
we could talk forever.
Good, yeah, ramble on. I think the one new thing that I would really draw attention to is the Zen Care Project. We wanted to be of service in the community for a long time now, and we just didn't know how to do it. And the confluence of events and all the suffering that's taking place has brought about, and a Dharma fund that we now have, has made it possible for us to reach out and be in the community in a concrete way. And we're building relationships with organizations in the community now. And that feels good to me. I think always wanted to face outward and be more engaged, even as we have this deep and intimate practice of meditation. We've wanted to activate our bodhisattva vows and be in the community, and that is happening now. We've distributed almost 1,500 masks to 16 different organizations and to a lot of individuals in our Sangha, people with disabilities, homeless, food banks, senior citizen centers, churches. We're distributing masks in Austin. Native Americans, the Hopi and Navajo nations, the Sioux tribe in South Dakota, and now the Pine Ridge tribe, where the worst cases of the coronavirus are happening on the indigenous reservations. So we want to send masks in that direction as much as we can. So I think, Robert, that's about, I think the slideshow kind of spoke for itself. There's so much ownership now in our mission from all of you. And I'm just deeply grateful for such a deep and heartfelt Sangha, such a generous Sangha that we have. So.
All right, we'll move on then. And Robert, you'll report out on the our annual financial report.
I'll try. I have to, Sensei, can I share a screen here? So I'm gonna try to do this. I'm going to show you our profit loss report for, through the end of May. And this, the one thing, and I want to bring up this this spreadsheet right here. So you'll see here, just to try to, it's a little complicated, our finances, because now we're doing what you would call fund accounting. What that means is that we have a lot of these different funds, which are, we consider restricted funds. Somebody has given money to the center for a specific purpose, for that money to be used for a specific purpose. So the Dharma Fund was given by an anonymous donor. They gave 25,000 last year, and they gave 25,000 this year. And that Dharma Fund is to be used to make a difference in the world. So we now have an equity policy which says that anyone that can't afford any of our offerings can receive a scholarship, and we use the Dharma Fund to fund that equity policy. We also we have spent about, I would say about 4,000 from the Dharma Fund for the Zen Care Mass project, and we'll continue to draw down from the Dharma Fund for that. Then we have the Lens Foundation left over. I think we had originally, it was 20,000 grant, Sensei, and we've spent most of that. We hired Ian Davis, Jokai, for about a year, and then we had another Elvis working for a couple months, and that Lens Foundation was mostly to be spent for salaries. And then we have the Poorview Fund, which is also a person on the East Coast that donated this money for salaries. And then we have an emergency fund, which is for a rainy day. So all those funds we have money in, and we can't just spend that for anything. So we have to, when we're thinking about what we actually have to spend in terms of operating revenue, we have to subtract all of these from the money we have in the bank. So the money we had in the bank at the end of May was a little over 65,000. And if you subtract all these funds from that, what we end up with is, at the end of May, we had $7,600 of operating revenue. And that's kind of the biggest picture I can give you of our accounting without going into lots of details. But then you, what else? This is our, so the other thing I would like to just draw your attention to perhaps is we really don't have much debt as an organization, as a nonprofit. Our primary liability is the loan we have from the bank, because we bought this property for $600,000. And then we raised an enormous amount of money for the down payment due to your generosity. And we had money left over from that fundraising, the building fund, to have startup costs and fix up the center and move in. But what we're left with is this loan from Byline Bank of $440,000, and we're paying this down a little bit each month, and we're paying off. We're also, a lot of our expenses obviously is in interest from where is it? I'm sorry, right here, 11,000. That interest expense is interest on the loan. So as we pay down the loan, we'll be paying more principal and less interest as we go. But we have to renew this loan. A commercial loan like this has a balloon payment at the end of 5 years, and essentially what that means is we renew the loan at the end of 5 years. So the more we can pay down the loan, the better, because we pay less interest. The other thing I did this year that we accomplished, was we are now tax exempt from we are classified as a church, and the Department of Revenue in Illinois recognizes us as such, and we don't have to pay property tax because of that, which is a big deal, because the property taxes, as you know, if you live in Oak Park, you know, are really expensive. So that's kind of, I think we've never been healthier financially as an organization. We've always been hand to mouth and the seat of our pants. And somehow this move into this new home has given, I think we're stronger because of it as a community. I think our practice is stronger, and I think our financial position is, given all that's going on in the world right now, pretty good. So that's kind of this. Maybe anyone has questions to clarify something. That I'm trying to just give you a big, I'm painting in broad brushstrokes to give you an overview. Any questions?
Okay, now.
What is the interest rate on the loan?
Oh, good question. I'm not sure. I think it was around 6% at the time, but I'm not sure about that. It wasn't cheap at the time. Interest rates were much higher than they are now, and but I think it's around 6%.
All right. Well, thank you, Roshi.
Oh, I'm sorry. One last thing is we spent about $15,000 to, as you know, the garage was rat infested. It had to be dealt with. We couldn't really afford to build a new garage, and June and me don't have a car, so it didn't make sense to build a new garage. So we tore it down and put in that new fence that you saw in the slideshow, and that cost us about $15,000 to do all together with all the contractors that worked on that. And we're going to now put in raised beds in the back. That's going to cost us another about $2,000 with soil and a nice cedar raised beds. And and then we'll be set. We'll kind of be settled in terms of the buildings and grounds for the center. And of course, Susan and Tony put in a beautiful Zen garden in the front, which really looks terrific. So that's kind of our financial thing as far as I can take it.
Is there a breakdown of how what the revenue is?
Sure. If you look on this profit and loss statement, Robin, you'll see that we bring in about we brought in 6,000 from the foundation classes so far this year. We're a little low. We should be bringing in a little more, but the virus kind of put a cramp on our ability to do classes as easily. We have membership now we've changed membership just to membership and Zen students. We're no longer using the phrase advanced members or practicing members. You're either a member, and if you're a member and it's $10 a month, or you're a Zen student, which includes membership. And so that we bring in quite a bit of revenue from our membership. And we did our fund drive the last 2 months. We raised 5,000 and we had a matching grant. And that really helped us get through to this month. Usually the summer months are pretty dry for us. We don't have a lot of revenue coming in. And so this fund drive really helped us stay in the, what do you call it, stay in the black. And then we have people that are pledging each month, different amounts, and that also gives us a more steady cash flow that we can count on. It's very helpful to have this. We have the Dharma Fund here, which we're using to fund our equity policy and our Zen Care project. I should mention that we get a good revenue stream from the hula school. The hula school pays the Zen Center an administrative fee of $1,200 a month for the use of the Zen Center. And that's a really significant source of revenue for us. Those are the main streams, Robin, that I can point to in terms of, and then of course we often have a higher revenue stream. We have donations and we have retreats, but our retreats are down right now, but because of the virus situation.
Roshi,
Yeah.
I'm curious whether Commit to Sit has brought in any extra revenue.
Oh, it has. It's brought in revenue, but I can't break that out for you. A lot of those people are in the current foundation classes, and we're currently planning when we do our our principal mindfulness course this month. We're marketing through a Google grant, which costs us nothing to the whole world. So we are going to be bringing in students, not just, we've been locally based up to this point, but with our new online courses, we can reach anywhere in the world and bring in someone from Europe or the East Coast or the West Coast who wants to take our mindfulness class. So that's a big shift that's happening, and we're trying to adjust to it and kind of roll with it.
And that, I know the Commit to Sit money went into the fund drive. So that's part of the $10,000 there, or what we raised.
The Commit to Sit program is great. Michael's doing a great job with that. And people really appreciate having that structure to sit every day. And plus the way he's kind of following it up with an engagement and now with the Heart Sutra. It's really, really wonderful offering he's doing there. Okay, that's it. Oh, let me stop sharing the screen, sorry. Okay.
Robert, you're muted.
I
Levity. You're missing my levity. What can I say? I lead a very delusional life, if you haven't already noticed that, but it's a pretty good delusion right now.
Was that the levity, the delusion, or did you actually say something?
I did say something, yeah. As far as I know, to the best of my knowledge, yes. My caretaker isn't around, so watch out. All right, so for the main event here for this annual meeting, and I'm really excited about this, we're going to vote on the slate of people who want to be on the board. And what I'd like them to do individually is just introduce themselves briefly. We don't have lots of time. And why don't we start off with Michael Bruner.
Hi, Michael Bruner. I've been practicing at the Zen Center now for a little over 10 years. I've been a member of the board, and the Zen Center's been a tremendous part of my life and my personal growth. And I really appreciated it, and I'm looking forward to an opportunity to contribute or give back by becoming a member of the board. So my professional background is in sales and marketing, and that's a little bit of what I do to help contribute to the Zen Center now. But I'm again looking forward to contributing even more.
Thanks, Michael. Christian.
Hi everyone, my name is Christian. I've been with the Zen Center for a little over a year now. And my background, what I do professionally is I'm an experienced design consultant, and a lot of the stuff that I do there is very, very corporate. So I like to contribute my skills in design and communication for the ZLMC brand. So for the past year, I've been helping out with, the website, social media, and marketing closely with Roshi and Michael. So I'm interested in serving on the board because I want to continue to give, because I ultimately believe that what we're all doing here is really great, and I'm excited and motivated to, spread the message and try to get other people involved as well. That's me. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Kelly?
Hi, I'm Kelly. Live here in Oak Park with my husband and 2 kids. As June had said, I've a soon-to-be 9-year-old tomorrow, 11-year-old. I do work full-time as a regulatory analyst at Healthcare Services Corporation, which is insurance, Blue Cross specifically. So I do have some corporate background, and I'm working a few classes left towards my MBA. So I'm excited to use some of that new knowledge here. Prior to that, I have a master's in developmental psychology and also went through a master's program to teach middle school science. So I'm really grateful at how wonderful the Sangha has been to me. And I'm really humbled and grateful to be able to use some of what I have here for the Zen Center in whatever ways they may need it. So I really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you, Kelly. Pam, would you like to introduce yourself? We can't hear you, Pam. You need to unmute.
That's an important part. Thank you. I could do sign language. My name's Pam Ransom, and I'd like to thank you for considering my application for the board for ZMLC. I became involved with the center back in, I think it was 2011, back in the house, and started taking classes. And then in, I think it was about 2013, I joined the board and became the treasurer of the board and worked with Robert on developing the all of the financial reports. Also worked on setting up ZLMC as a not-for-profit corporation in Illinois because it was still incorporated back in Hawaii. So we incorporated it here in Illinois. And then also it was fun looking back at old records, worked with the board at that point on the bylaws and updating those, as well as the articles of incorporation, and really enjoyed that opportunity to work with the board. Since that time, I've always wanted to move up to Ely, Minnesota. I did camping here for years, and it's a beautiful area of the country, arts community, very interesting group of people up here also. And so I've moved up to Ely, Minnesota. It's 25 miles from Canada. If you ever want to come up here, we all want to escape. I have some canoes and we can paddle up to Canada. But it's a wonderful time up here, and I've been volunteering. I'm the treasurer of the food shelf here in Ely, and also working with the Symphony Orchestra and a number of other organizations, and have my own small consulting firm writing grants and doing strategic planning with not-for-profits.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
Liz, I don't see her on the screen. Is Liz here?
She was just painting here, so she was going to try to.
I am here. I am
Oh,
here.
hey, Liz.
Guys, I was just painting, so excuse this mess.
We've lost you.
My name's Elizabeth. Started off with the mindfulness courses. Absolutely drank the juice. Wanted more. Very excited.
Oh, you're frozen. You're frozen,
Yeah.
Liz.
May need to do sign language, I think.
Liz, you're frozen, and now you're dark, so we can't even see you.
Well, let's give her just a little bit more time here. All right, well, just given technical difficulties, I think we should move on here. And it looks like she's probably logging back in, I bet. One second. All right, well, let's move forward here. Time is tight. And so I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the slate of candidates as members of the board.
This is Chris. I so move.
Do I hear a second? Great. I see a second.
Second.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. And so we're going to just do, this is new to me, doing online voting like this, but what I'd like is that we'll vote all together for the slate, not individually. And so all those in favor of the slate, what I'd like you to do, if you're in favor of it, is to say aye and then raise your hand. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, great. And then are there any against the slate? I don't see any. Or any abstentions? All right, wonderful. Welcome aboard. Yay. And I just want to say, just sort of as board president, being on the board is a really important role to take in our Sangha. So for those of you who haven't been on the board, think about it the next year, the next annual meeting. It's a great way to serve. You kind of get to see how the sausage is made. And it's really, really important that we have a strong, vital board, and that one that's renewing itself every year. So that's just my little advertisement there. Let's see what's next on our agenda.
Hey, Robert, can I just ask, who left the board? Who are these people replacing?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. So Chris Rooney is stepping down, Mike Fuji, and then Lori Snyder is stepping down. So we want to give them all our thanks for their hard work and dedication to the board.
Thank you.
So normally a board term's 2 years. Yeah, thank you.
And who's remaining?
You're asking all these hard questions. The rest of the board is remaining.
Well, Vivian, I guess, right? And Diane,
Yeah.
and Susan?
Yeah.
Right?
Susan,
and you?
myself. Yeah, so that's it.
And Linda. Okay,
and
great.
then June, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, in June.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Rosh?
Diane.
Oh yeah, Diane.
Yeah, we said
Sorry.
Diane. Yeah.
I can't handle those hard questions. Okay. So the new board will meet afterwards this meeting, and we're going to finish up with clear, concise, brief circle presentations. So we'll start out with the building maintenance circle, perhaps in many ways one of the most important circles that we have here for obvious reasons, and I'll just call in Chris here.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Here goes for clear, concise, and brief. So this is a newer circle. What we did this year is essentially form the group and establish a scope of services, briefly recognizing the other members of the circle on the call now. I think we've got Patrick Rourke, Mike Bruner, Mike Craig, Mark Galula, Susan Senseman, Lucy Grell. If I missed anyone, I apologize, but those people who have been part of this work. One of the things that we accomplished this year, we made some internal safety improvements inside the center, making the center itself easier to get around, from the staircases to the walkways, to making sure it was just safe and easy for everyone to move around in the center. Over the winter, we inspected our key mechanicals, the boiler, the heater, hot water heaters, to make sure those were capable of getting us through the winter. And Mike Craig was heavily involved in that activity, making sure we can estimate the remaining useful life on each of those key mechanicals. And then the big project for the spring was, as Robert mentioned, the new garage effort, which Robert mostly led, and that was tearing down the old garage, building a parking slab, and then installing the new beautiful Zen rock garden in the back. So a lot of actually activities got accomplished by this new group over the last year, and I'm proud to have been a part of it. And that's it for our update.
Thanks, Chris. And I just want to put a plug out there. If anyone's on the call who's handy, plumbing, electrical work, please let Robert know or Chris know if you're interested in joining the circle. We're looking for handy folks.
Yeah, and if I can add to that, Robert, even if you're not interested in joining the circle, if you see things around the establishment that need to be done, things that would make the place safer or more secure or just better for our inhabitants, please bring that up and notify, and we'll get the building circle on it.
Great. Thanks,
Robert?
Chris. Yes?
Can I say something?
Sure.
One thing we want to just be aware of is the equipment we have, the air conditioning and the heaters are all quite old and past their due date, so to speak, and they're still running, which is great, but we have to be, I think we need to be prepared for the eventual, those are going to break down and they're going to cost quite a bit of money to replace. So one of the roles of the building circle is to kind of keep their eye on that and to try to anticipate possibly the expense that would be involved and how we would replace something when it breaks down.
Yes, thank you. And a great segue to the GEM circle. Susan, Diane, do you want to give us a little brief update on GEMS?
Susan and I are co-stewarding the GEMS, which means generosity and membership. We have about 10 or 11. And as we like to say, we put the fun in fundraising. So we do have a good time. Right now, we've shifted some focus to membership since we've done a lot of fundraising. Fundraising maintains, our focus, but we've had some subcommittees. Chris Dussel, Robin, I think Vivian, working on the brochure. I know Christian's helped out quite a bit with design, and it's fabulous. They've done a wonderful job thinking about ways to be welcoming and inclusive of new members, to sort of highlight who we are, what we do, how to understand our protocols. So a lovely, lovely brochure that's just stunning has been developed, along with some cards. When that'll be reintroduced, I'm not sure when we can meet again in person, but they've done a really nice job with the Bodhisattva vows, so that people that come in don't sort of wonder what are we doing and how can I be joining in with this. And then we've had a subcommittee that's looked at membership. Again, changing some of the levels, as Roshi said, so that instead of practicing member, advanced member, to just go to membership and then Zen Life student. We thought that might be a little bit clearer and help to attract more people into the membership program. I'll toss it over to Susan to see if you have anything you want to say, co-steward.
Well, we're meeting tomorrow night at 7, if anyone would like to join us. But we have a banner in the window at ZLMC, thanks to Christian's design. This idea was hatched in March about the virus and community together. And I'm happy that that's in the window. So it's a broad circle from fundraising to membership. And there's a lot to accomplish. And I think our use of subcommittees was really successful. We didn't duplicate information, we streamlined. So that's a lot of things to add. Anyone else on our circle? Okay.
I just want to add that Karen and Linda Waring were also working initially on the brochure and the materials that we're handing out.
All right, great, thank you. We'll move on to a Year to Live circle, and the stewards there are Vivian, Karen, and Carol.
Good morning, everybody.
This newly named circle is A Time to Live. It's formerly the Death and Dying group. Um, we thought this title was a little bit better. Currently, we have 9 members who attend on a regular basis, and the discussion centers around Stephen Levine's book, A Year to Live. We've also been using a lot of other resources, one of which is the 5 Wishes, which is a tool that really is like the first advance directive, or it's a living will that talks about the personal, emotional, and spiritual needs of people, and also addresses medical wishes that a person has as well. We spend time journaling, a lot of discussion regarding exercises that give us the opportunity to talk about unfinished business in our lives and to enter into a new and vibrant relationship with life, and also living mindfully in the present. We do many sorts of meditations, such as the soft belly, fear contemplation, and the life review. We also try to continue to do a lot of music, poetry, and people bring in additional current kinds of events and information that might be helpful to people. This circle will go through at least December of this year. And I feel that the sharing within this intimate circle is really very powerful, very rich.
Thank you, Vivian. On to the Women's Circle. Chris?
Hi, good morning. The Women's Circle, we try to meet every other month and the third Friday. And we have shifted to Zoom as all of our meetings have. The Women's Circle is an opportunity for us to connect, engage, share fellowship, and enjoy each other's company. We usually start with a period where we can just chat. Then we do a counsel's check-in is our typical format. And then we move on to using some sort of prompts to help us think about and share about Zen-inspired life elements in our life. And so it's a really wonderful opportunity. There's a lot of deep sharing. There's also usually quite a bit of laughter. And I think that people who come feel that they leave feeling enriched and nourished. So.
Thanks, Chris. And nonviolent communication?
Okay, I'm giving the Lori Snyder, who's the steward. She wrote a little bit. She says the Nonviolent Support Communication Support Circle has been meeting for 4 years. We support one another with having requests for difficult conversations and learning the capacity to listen and hear others' voices with empathy. None of us are perfect, but we are slowly becoming more careful with what we say and how we say it. Or as Marshall Rosenberg said, we are becoming progressively less stupid. We're currently reading J. Oren Sofer's book, Say What You Mean. And she says, we welcome new people at this important juncture. So you can just contact Lori if you'd like to join.
Great. Yeah, really needed. Thank you, June. Next circle is Unpacking White Privilege. And the stewards are Jackie and Diane.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Jackie. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. After you, please.
Jackie and I are co-stewarding Unpacking White Privilege, and we're a small group at this point, maybe 7 folks meeting by Zoom the second Wednesday of every month. And it's just been a fabulous group. We're reading the book White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo, which I highly recommend if you haven't read it. and you're really dedicated to doing some deep, deep inner work, asking some really difficult questions, which our circle does. But it's been a really safe place to open our hearts, to open our minds to the prejudices, the deep-seated racism that contributes to systemic racism. So it's been a fabulous group, and everyone is welcome to join in. We'd really love to have you join us. Toss it over to Jackie.
Good morning. Glad everyone's healthy. Just the other pieces, just to help if you're considering this circle. Our next circle is June 10th from 7 to 8:30. So we meet the second Wednesday of the month. If you'd like to get an idea of what we're doing and what we're following as a way to keep us kind of flowing, the D'Angelo, there is a study guide to white fragility. There's a PDF online. So if you just want to take a look at some nuggets of the chapters to get an idea. And there's also, Robin D'Angelo has some videos online if you want to see some of her talks recently at some universities to get an idea of her energy and what she's bringing. And the other thing I'll say is we have been asked, like, what do you do? So kind of an outline is we do a quick sit. We do a Dharma gem that we kind of discuss. We talk about what's transpired in terms of white privilege for us in the past month since we met. And then we do go over the chapter that we're currently studying, and we'll be reviewing chapter 5 if you do decide to join us next week. That's where we're at.
Great, thank you, Jackie and Diane. The study circle with June?
Yes, so quickly we've been studying David Brazier's book, The Dark Side of the Mirror, Forgetting the Self in Dogen's Genjo Koan for about 6 months. So it's a wonderful way to kind of get people's take on this really rich writing of Dogen. So this is again open. If you haven't read the chapter, it's okay that we're on. I wanted to also add in here our liturgy circle. We're just doing services now every second and fourth Sunday on Zoom at 9 o'clock, and we chant the Heart Sutra the second Sunday, and then the Gate of Sweet Nectar the fourth. So everyone is welcome. It'll be on the same link as Sunday Morning Zen. And we just had a beautiful Fusatsu service on Friday night, a service of atonement and renewing our vows as bodhisattvas. The People of Color Circle is on hiatus right now, but I hope to get that going again. And the Prison Dharma Circle is also on hiatus because we're not going to the prisons yet. Okay, that's it for me.
Great, thank you, June. Next is Program and Marketing, and Robert Lund is the steward. Is Robert here?
Hello, everyone.
Oh, there you are.
We have a great group going here with the Program and Marketing. We've been focused on the programs, as some of you that have just been mentioned. A few others are the principles of mindfulness, Commit to Sit, and the Sunday Morning Zen Talks, Zen Studies. There have been some of the focus has been on ways to improve the quality of online experience. The audio and visual parts of that online experience have been addressed. There have been main focus on finding the right balance between maximizing the online viewership with the reasonable price range. So that's always an ongoing conversation. Another focus has been to how to differentiate our brand from the growing competition online. More about that. Our path is a spiritual as well as a mindfulness approach. We bring tradition into the practice, and rituals give form to grief. So we want to try to include that in our image online. For the marketing part, the focus has been on to maximizing our Google grant for a wide range, worldwide range audience. Attention to detail on our website, who visits, how many conversions, and such issues as these. Michael and Christian have been extremely helpful in moving this kind of discussion on, and we're really doing a lot of great changes. So we're reaching all the markets: Facebook, Instagram, Microsoft, Google, Fula, and so I'm really proud to be a part of this circle, and I think we'll be continuing this on into the future.
Great, thank you, Robert. And now the Teacher Circle. Roshi will talk to us.
We have 6 teachers that are empowered to teach the mindfulness curriculum that we have. Christine Dussel, June Tenoy, Michael Bruner, Robert Demery, Dan Geloff, and Susan Senseman. And we meet periodically. It's challenging to stay on the same page, especially as we're moving through so many changes now and having to change the format of the curriculum. We've always been locally based, and we like teaching in person, but it's not possible right now. So we're going through this shift of how to teach the classes online, and we'll be meeting in a week or two to talk about it together. And I'm just very grateful for these 6 individuals that have committed their time and resources to really supporting our core curriculum at the Zen Center. Yeah.
Thank you, Roshi. Interface Circle, Robert.
As I mentioned, we just had our first meeting this past Wednesday. It went really well, had a nice turnout. It's more of an organizational meeting. We're going to start with the circle proper. We're going to be meeting on 3rd Wednesdays, 7 to 8 p.m. So our next one will be June 17th. Just looking at Zen practice through the lens of other great faith traditions, mystical and contemplative traditions in Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and also modern science. And I guess the other thing I'd say is, looking around what's happening now out there in the world, I think the core disease is division, that the country's divided and it's killing the country. And one of the ways that we're divided is on lines of faith, with people of progressive faith or no faith on one side and people of conservative Christian faith on the other. So maybe this circle could be a way to start thinking about ways to talk across that divide and reach across that divide. So that's the Interfaith Circle.
Thank you, Robert. One more circle I want to mention is the Poetry Circle, which meets every Friday from 7:45 to 8:45 via Zoom, of course. And all are invited. You don't need to be a poet. In fact, most of us just bring our favorite poems to read from other poets, though there are some poets in the group who read their work as well. It's really a great time, great conversation that I personally get a great deal out of and enjoy very much. Let's see, and that ends our annual meeting. Before we end, I would just want to thank June for all her hard work and working with me to put this meeting on. There's a lot to this that you don't see, and she was instrumental in making this happen. I just want to thank you, June, for all your help with this. So I hereby declare this 2020 annual meeting over, and go out and enjoy the sunshine. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Robert, is the board meeting starting right now?
Yeah, I would like to, if that's okay with everyone on the board.
Yeah.
Can we stay on this link?
Yeah, let's just stay on, yeah. Thanks, Kelly.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Robert,
Yes?
would you like the people to stay during the vote, or would you prefer that we leave during the vote?
You've already been voted on.
Already voted on.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if there was another board vote that needed to be
No,
taken.
no.
Okay.
No, you guys were handpicked.
You're in there.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see
Okay.
how that turns out, right?
Thank you.
Too late to turn back now.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah. The ink is dry. Let me just put it that way. Yeah, so my intention here is really for it to be a short meeting since we've already, we've had the annual meeting. 2 items. One is to elect new board officers. And what I mean by that is a new vice president, a new secretary, and a new treasurer. And my thought about how to move forward with this is just to see first, is there anyone who wants to step up into one of these positions? And I'll start with the vice president's role, who wants to just volunteer for it.
Well, what about Diane? She's already the vice president. Where's Diane? Did you?
There she is. Did you want to continue, Diane?
If nobody else wants it, if somebody is really chomping at the bit to do it, I'd be happy to step aside.
That's what I thought,
yeah.
yeah.
Otherwise, I'm happy to continue.
Okay.
Robert?
Yeah.
No, just a reminder that I am stepping down as.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
This is your last formal role as secretary. All right, so I don't think we need to vote on Diane continuing, do we? Let me know if
I
I'm
don't think so.
procedurally I'm very inept, so feel free to yell at me if I'm doing something wrong. Okay, great. Thank you, Diane, and thank you for your service for the last 2 years. And let's move on to secretary, where Susan has been playing that role for the past 2 years. Linda, are you volunteering?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Right.
Great, thank you.
Great.
Key role to holding us together in many ways. So thank you, Linda.
Doing it for the power.
Let the minutes show that Linda is revealing her shadow side to us right now. And I appreciate your candor, Linda. Look forward to it. Okay, moving right along. Let's see, treasurer. And I didn't see Mike at all during the annual meeting, did he? It's hard for me to pay attention to everyone. So we need a treasurer, another key role. Is there somebody who wants to just step into that role?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Excellent, yeah.
If no one else would like to take it over, and I, like Diane said, she is, their committee is putting the fun in fundraising. I am taking up the challenge of putting the fun in financials. So you can hold me to this.
I'm not, I kind of listen to that like a threat somehow. But
Oh,
anyway.
no, it's an opportunity. It's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, or maybe it's just another grab for power. But anyway, moving right along, we all have our little shadows.
It'd be fun for Pam because she holds my feet to the fire.
Ah, there we go. Well, great. I appreciate it, Pam. It's really another, all of these roles are very important. And as I said earlier, that the board is really a vital group to ZLMC. And I'm really excited about all the new folks on board. And I just want to say finally, and I've said this before, but just thanks to Chris Rooney and Mike Fuji and to Lori Snyder. They're all stepping down for their service on the board. It's been a pretty interesting last 2 years on the board, to say the least. I mean, we went through the ups and downs of buying the property, and then the ups and downs of moving into the property, and the ups and downs of continuing on in the property. So it's been a real challenge. It's been really great. And so my many thanks to everyone on the board these past 2 years. What I'd like to do now is put out dates for our 3rd quarter and 4th quarter board meetings. What I propose is for 3rd quarter would be in September 13th, which is a Sunday. It's after Labor Day. Does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
I'll email this out, but I just thought since I have everyone here, let's just nail these down.
Yeah, that works.
That works.
Okay. And then there'll be more information I'll be sending out about the meeting. And then I want to think through for the board for us to kind of, how would I put it? The only technical term I can think of is create a really great way to onboard new members to the board so that it's, that the new folks can get up to speed and we get really synced up and aligned really well quickly. And then for 4th quarter, November 22nd, that's before Thanksgiving. Does that work for everyone?
Yes.
So great to do this ahead of time, let me tell you. You can spend a lot of time scheduling stuff. All right, so that concludes. So, and I'll just throw in, we traditionally meet from 11:30 to 1:30. And depending on where we are in terms of being together, historically we've met at the center, of course, and we've had lunch. Usually people come in before sit, then we have lunch, and then we have the board meeting.
But
yes, Susan.
we don't know, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
No, I have a question. I mean, I missed something. Who is president of the board?
Oh, good point. So I'm president of the board until November 20th, I believe.
November 20th, okay.
So I do have the power, I do have the control, just don't forget that.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Robert, would, with my being a little ways away, would you be having this as a Zoom meeting or would you like me to attend in person?
It would be fantastic if you could attend in person, and
Okay.
I understand completely. It's not just a train ride or something. It's a trip. That would be great. I mean, I'm a big believer in person. Yes, Robert.
Yeah, I am too.
I want to say I don't think there should be any pressure on you, Pam, to come in person. She lives a long ways away. What she signed up for was online presence at the board meeting, and I think that should be the way we really expect her to show up, unless she wants to, unless she happens to be down here for a planned trip. But whether we're meeting online or we're meeting in person, we can always have a laptop set up on the table, and a person can join us through Zoom, even if we're meeting in person.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Robert.
Okay, thank you. I will try to be there though, because I believe the in-person contact Zoom is great, but actually getting to know people is the important part.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Any other comments or thoughts at this point?
Just, I'd like to welcome the new board members.
Yeah, welcome
really
aboard.
Exciting. It's great to have so many new faces and energy. So I'm really looking forward to being together as the board members. Thank you all for stepping up.
Yeah.
Me too. I want to say how excited I am to see all the strong new board members. It's wonderful to have you join us, and looking forward to working with each of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are going to be really great.
All right, so I'll conclude this meeting, and thanks so much. And I'll be in contact in the next couple of weeks.
Thanks, Robert.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.